Imagine you are a world-leading neurobiologist. For decades, you have studied the brain scans of the most cold-blooded murderers and serial killers. In 2005, while reviewing a control group of scans of your own family, you see one that is perfect. Dark spots in the orbitofrontal cortex, a shrunken amygdala. It is a textbook brain of a predator. You decode the encryption and freeze. This brain belongs to you. James Fallon did not become a killer, but he is a primary psychopath. His story proves biology is a loaded gun, but the environment pulls the trigger. Today, we will look inside the skulls of those called soulless and dissect their neurochemistry piece by piece. A psychopath's brain differs from yours not in its thoughts, but in its hardware. Here are the cold facts of neuroanatomy. First, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. In a healthy person, this is the internal lawyer. In psychopaths, the gray matter here is thinned by 18%. Where your conscience is born, they have a structural void. Second, the amygdala, the fear center. In primary psychopaths, it is 15 to 18% smaller than normal. They do not feel fear and cannot recognize it on others' faces. To them, your terror is just a grimace, not a reason to stop. Third, the uncinate fasciculus. This is the cable connecting fear and logic. In psychopaths, it is thinned. The signal of I am in pain from a victim simply never reaches the aggressor's inhibitory centers. And finally, the striatum. Here we see abnormal growth. This reward zone is 10% larger in psychopaths. Their brain is a hypertrophied engine of greed. Psychopathy begins before birth. If a fetus receives an excess of testosterone in the womb, it can suppress the development of empathy zones. Another critical factor is prematurity. Premature birth often affects the frontal cortex, the youngest and most fragile part of the brain. If the foundation of morality is laid with an error, the building of conscience cannot be built upon it. Then there is the MAOA gene, known as the warrior gene. Psychopaths often carry the short version of this gene. It breaks the system of serotonin metabolism. The embryonic brain literally bathes in chemicals, making the receptors deaf to emotions. This creates biological coldness before the first cry. It is crucial not to confuse two different types. Primary psychopaths are ice. They have a small amygdala from birth. They are calculated, charming, and never lose control. They kill or rob with a smile. Secondary psychopaths or sociopaths are fire. They are the product of trauma and abuse. Their amygdala is not small. It is inflamed. They live in constant stress. They are impulsive and aggressive. A sociopath is a brain that learned to be cruel to survive. A psychopath simply does not know any other way. If they do not feel love, why do they live? For the dopamine jackpot. Studies show that a psychopath's brain releases 4 times more dopamine in response to the anticipation of a reward. Any manipulation or risk is a powerful drug for them. Meanwhile, their mirror neurons work in manual mode. They do not empathize with you automatically like Wi-Fi. They switch on empathy consciously like an X-ray to find your weak spot and strike it. They lack oxytocin attachment. To them, you are simply a resource. Can they be cured? No. You cannot regrow an amygdala or fix the MAOA gene with pills. Psychopathy is not a breakdown. It is an alternative survival strategy for a predator. In ancient times, such people were necessary for the tribe during ruthless wars. Today, they sit in the chairs of CEOs or surgeons. Fallon's story is a miracle of love that froze the monster's genes. But remember, 1 in every 100 people is a psychopath. Look around. Perhaps right now someone is watching you whose brain runs on a fourfold dopamine surge and an 18% void.